if you have a 50's era Artimat, I'm going to show you how to maintain this model machine properly. We're going to show how to load it and maybe go over some troubleshooting. Okay, so you have your key. Usually we zip tie the key to the cord when we ship the machine. So this key will open both doors on this machine. The one in the lower is basically for storage for you to put your art. And when we ship this machine, the art would be here. So look in the storage area. But then when you are ready to load the machine, put in the key. And the only thing holding on this door is the key, the lock, and then two little tabs at the bottom. So we're going to pull this off. And up here is a cord that plugs in that operates the light. And we'll show you how to reinstall that in a minute. But just lift off the door and set it somewhere safe. And if you look close, there's rectangular slots in the machine body as well as rectangular pieces of metal on the bottom of the door, and that's what holds the door in position. Okay, so once you have your art, we usually send them in sets of 5 per artist, and each artist has a placard. So look in your shipment to make sure you have the right placard that corresponds with the art. So to load the machine, we pick a column. Originally, this model was meant to pull out like so, and you load like that. But what we've been doing over the last few years is just making it so all you have to do is rotate the pieces and put them in position. So you may not even have to lower that column at all. Okay, so you have your placard, you've loaded the art. Get a small piece of tape to put on the back, just it keeps it in position. And then find the correct placard slot on the tray and just put it in position. So we're just going to load one for this demo. So that is ready to go. Say you've loaded all the machine, all the columns in the machine. You then, let's put the door back on. So if you see this plug here, this goes into that so it'll operate the light. So to put on the door, just pay attention at first and be careful. Carefully put those tabs into the slot. And then with the plug up top, this is your last step. You plug it right in. If you look down low, the light comes on. And then carefully put the door back on. Remove the lock. And this one's ready to go. So when people walk up, they'll put the token in, pull their selection, you're good to go. With this machine, sometimes if people baby their selection, a knob will be stuck out. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. First thing we need to do is take the door off, and that can be a little tricky with this protruding out. So what we have to do is remember the lock and then the hasp are holding on the door, and it's going to be a little bit of a conflict here. So what you have to do is just keep lifting up and babying it until you can get the door off safely. So with the knob stuck out, the way the machine works is it has to complete the VIN cycle. So this piece of metal has to go all the way to the front of this piece of metal on the inside. And if it's jammed, that means that something is causing an obstruction and it could be tight. But first of all, just try to pull it out. And that sounded pretty good. And that works. So in some cases, a piece will be stuck in an odd place, and what we have to do is just get it out. And if there's a lot of pressure, you can maybe lift this out to release some pressure. And if you have to, you can reach down here and see what's causing it and then pull it out. Now sometimes a piece can be wedged in there where we really have to do some digging to get it out, but it's real simple. What we have to do is remove the columns, and there's a little tab over here that lifts out, just set that back, and there's one on each side. And now, the only thing holding on the columns are these two little pivot points. So let's just lift out the columns and set those aside. And now we can see the full mechanism. In this situation, if it's really tight, what will happen is when the machine jams, you see how people keep pulling it and pulling it harder and harder, and they put their foot on it sometimes and yank. But what that creates is just a really tight vice grip sort of situation. So if you can't get it out this way, what you do is you see these it's called a dog, and these teeth. That is what's keeping the knob in position. It won't go backwards. So you pull the knob and then make that pop so it'll immediately go back. And that's how you release all the pressure and get it back to recoil. So to reinstall the token mech, remember 4 tabs, this cradle, and make sure that you get the front and back. The most common thing that happens with this type machine is people put it back in position hastily and miss the 2 back, and it just throws tokens all over everywhere. But what you do is just put it in, and sometimes it's tight. Eventually you get there. And see that cradle? Sometimes it'll be like so. What you do is you got to make sure it's like that. That way it'll kick out tokens if somebody wants their token back. So that's how it works. If you have any trouble at all, please call or email. We'll help you out from afar.